Let's crack this thing open and let's look at the bolt and the piston system. Okay, now this is a totally interesting setup, the way you have to pull this thing out here, and I'll show you why. Now if you look at the bolt, the charging handle, and the piston all come out in one unit. A lot of folks, if you don't like the charging handle, where you might have a little bit of an issue because it straddles the actual operating rod of the piston, which is permanently, or at least affixed, very well affixed to the bolt. Now there is a slot here. There we go. There's the main part of the piston, then your operating rod and your charging handle comes right off of that. There's still packing grease on this guy. I have not shot this gun yet, which is kind of sucks. I wanted to shoot today, but it was so windy today, it would have been absolutely atrocious. Now you see that operating rod is attached to the bolt carrier setup itself, unlike having a gasket. Some of the other piston setups, some of the other ARs manufacturers out there, the rod is not attached to the buffer, or excuse me, to the bolt itself. So as this cycles, you end up getting some bolt tilt, which slows down or retards, I guess, the function of the bolt. This is all one piece and then affixed to the other end of the rod, or the piston. So as it operates, it goes straight back into the buffer and then back into the locking position, which is going to give you better recoil impulse, a better feel of the gun, and more longevity long term. There's less wear and tear. Now another thing you're going to see is that bolt face it's got a spring in there. This does not need standard gas rings like a regular AR-15 because it is not an impinged system. So as far as replacing parts, you might find some issues with certain bolt faces or other things where you got to make sure it associates with the system itself. I probably should leave this tore apart and clean it all up. Let's pull apart the rest of this upper here real quick. Now I do absolutely love the machining that PWS does on all of their stuff. I love how the weight reduction is done on the upper and lower receiver, still keeping the necessary amount of material to make it rigid and strong. Obviously, I assume that the shapes of the machining help provide the rigidness we need in that upper receiver. And the same with the lower. I love the fencing around everything. It just is a good looking setup. Now the trigger in this guy is just an enhanced mil-spec trigger. They have some coating on it, and then they've worked the trigger just a little bit. Is it the greatest trigger ever? No, it's not. But factory out of the box, you're going to be around 5.5 to 6.5 pounds. It's pretty crisp. It's not gross or spongy or gritty like you might find in some lesser ARs. It's a good quality setup there.